Guys, what's up? Welcome to the Perfect Storytelling Formula. You made it. You may have found me through my podcast, The Thought Sound Project. You may have found me through Instagram or my videos on Facebook or LinkedIn. Either way, no matter how you got here, it's because you have an interest in what I'm teaching you guys today about storytelling. So I created the Perfect Storytelling Formula as a way to take any goal that you have in your life, whether you want to get a new job or participate in an activity or connect with somebody or do something unique with your life. It doesn't matter. Whatever your goal is, I believe that you can craft a story around the attainment of that goal to help you make the connections you need to make to be able to achieve that goal. So I've used the art of storytelling from everything. Like getting jobs has always been the best thing for me, but this works for everything. This has worked awesome in sales for me. I've always had these little stories that I put in my back pocket that explain why whatever product or service I have sold over the years is the best option for the potential client. I've always had these little stories that sound like they're very unique and off the cuff, but that I've planned, that I tell everybody these same stories, and I've always thought of them as like talking points, but they're more than that. They're created to inspire action at the end of them. So it really helps you illustrate why you're the person for whatever it is the goal is that you want to accomplish. So in this video, I'm going to try to keep it quick, but this is going to be a super high level of the perfect storytelling formula. It's going to show you how to take each part of the formula and craft your own perfect story. At the end of the video, there will be some more options if you want to continue looking into this. I have some really cool stuff coming up, but I'll get to that towards the end of the video. So let's jump into it. All right, Act 1, Separation. All good stories start in the regular world with everyday people. The hero is like a diamond in the rough. So, did you ever find yourself living a regular life but feeling anything but normal? Well, this is where you want these stories to start. If you think back on any superhero movie, think about like Spider-Man especially, or really anything. It starts out as, Spider-Man's a nerdy little guy, and he's just a regular dude that's feeling average and that his life has no meaning, and as he progresses through his story, he becomes Spider-Man, and that's what creates such an emotional connection to this story. So you always want to start your story with a connection to the everyday people, because the people you're trying to showcase, whether it's a product or service, or whether you're trying to showcase why you're the person for any given opportunity, you want to connect with the audience to show them that you used to be like them. Like, before I implemented this strategy, I was just like you, and I'm about to show you how I did this. So you want to always start with that hook. All right, who's your hero? Who have you helped before? What was their life like before you came into the picture? What were their difficulties? You really want to paint a picture here. So whether your talent is something that you discovered about yourself and that you implemented in your own life, and now you're sharing that journey to create something, or maybe you help clients and there have been people in the past who have had pain points that you've solved. In these early stages of the story, you want to illustrate, that the people you help, or the people you can help, are normal people, just like the person you're talking to now. And you want to really create that connection with them. You want to relate with them based on problems that they're currently having. So you really want to dive into I know you're struggling with these things. I know it. I've experienced it. My last clients have experienced it. I am with you. You want to let them know that you're understanding where they're at in their journey, because you're able to guide them on where they're going. And the only reason you can guide them onto wherever you're trying to lead them with your story. The only reason you're able to do that is because you have already experienced that in your past. So you want to create that connection that you've had this experience, but you don't want to just say like, hey, I have this experience doing this, this, and this. You weave it into your story so it builds that emotional connection as opposed to just telling them. What's at stake? So, before you came around, what did the impossibly perfect world look like? Why did it seem so monumental to accomplish this task? Really, we want to dive into the relationship between realizing there's something you could do or something you could change into your business, but currently feeling like it's impossible. So again, everything is just relating to the people we're speaking to. So maybe this person knows they have a goal and there are things they want to do. So, you used the last step, who's your hero, to describe why you're the person for the job because you've experienced that. But you also want to talk about how it felt the same for you, where like we talk about things we want to do, like maybe somebody wants to lose 100 pounds. Well, that sounds absolutely impossible to somebody who hasn't started yet. But to somebody who has already lost 100 pounds, it's no longer impossible because they've done it, but they have been in that position of feeling like it's impossible, but they were able to overcome that feeling and actually accomplish this goal. So you really want to use this section of your narrative to show that, listen, even though I know how to get where you're trying to go, there was a time where I felt exactly the same as you. And that's really, again, what's creating that strong connection with your audience to make them think like, oh man, this guy felt exactly like me and he was able to do it. I better keep listening so I know how I can do it as well. So Act 2, this is another really important piece. This is a period of separation. This is where the hero separates themselves from the rest of the pack. This is the beginning of the special world where we're leaving the regular version of ourselves behind. So how did we become relatably great? That's what we want to talk about in this separation period. Relatably great. How we used to be like you, or the people we help used to be like you, and they felt the same way as you. And now this is where we create the separation to show what we were able to do, or what we're able to offer the world or the universe, or what we're able to help with. This is where we want to show how we are different. This is where we're allowed to differentiate ourselves from our competition. This is where we can show we are the person for the job, because even though we felt the same way as our audience before, something within us allowed us to figure out how to move into the future. So this Act 2 of separation is very important because now we're creating credibility and authority, and we're really starting to be able to speak in a way that's, before it was being just very open-hearted and very, aware of the pain that somebody could possibly be going to. Like maybe it's not physical pain like sadness, but maybe it's a difficulty in their business or creating a transition in their life. It's still a pain. So we want to relate in Act 1 how we once felt the same way to you or as the audience, but in Act 2 is where we really want to get strong with, but we were able to do this. So this is where we create that separation and move into it even deeper. This is absolutely where the most fun comes into place. So the call to adventure, finally, some action. I've been waiting my entire life for this moment, but it's harder than I thought it would be. That's really what we want to dial in here, because this is where we start alluding to the secret sauce. It's where we allude to what makes us the only person that the person we're speaking to wants to do business with, or wants to align with, or wants to listen to, or wants to be educated by. Because not only do we want to take everything we've worked up until this point to create relatability, but now we want to cement with the call to adventure why we are the person for the job. But we are the person for the job not because we're a genius or not because we're the smartest, but because we have felt the same way as our audience before, but we figured out a way to accomplish our goals. But we want to make sure the audience knows that it was harder than we thought it would be. There are trials and tribulations and ups and downs that we all go through while we become what it is that we want to become. I always tell people I feel like I failed dozens and dozens and dozens of times, and each time I failed, it felt like the end of the world and like I would never rebound. But now where I'm at today in my life, looking back, I can look on 10 different times that I failed and I don't see them as negative failures anymore. I can pinpoint the couple little pieces of that failure that I took away from me that have snowballed into all the knowledge that I have now that I'm sharing with you guys. So, we want to let people know that our call to adventure has been through struggle. Like, okay, we have figured out that this philosophy works, but it did not work immediately. So we have to share the fact that we are the person for the job because we took the knots on the head trying to figure this thing out. We are the ones that had to go through the years and years of failure and toil and struggle to figure out the best way. And we're the person for the job, or we're the person that you should connect with or listen to or choose for this opportunity, because everything that we have gone through has led us up until this moment. And we want to heed that call to adventure because we have welcomed the struggle and we have allowed this struggle to come into our life so we can take all of the lessons away from it to be able to help the people we're trying to help skip all of that struggle. Like, we can relate to them in a way where it's like, listen, I've already told you, you've already connected with me on the fact that I've been where you're at in your life. Now what we want to do is move forward in a way that you know that I can relate to you, and here are the things that I would have done if I wanted to skip 80% of the difficulties that I experienced. Here's the secret sauce. All right, villains, fog, and crevices. You guys that have been through a lot, that have been through the grind, through the struggle, you understand what I mean by crevices, right? Yeah, sometimes for every high, there's about 10 lows, so you really get to know those valleys. But this is an important part in our hero's journey. This is where we can relate to people, where we can say, listen, I used to be where you are now. I've had the realization that I know where I'm supposed to be, and I know I'm supposed to do something great, but it feels freaking impossible, because even when you make the realization of where you think you're supposed to go or what you think you're supposed to be doing, there's always that moment where you're like, okay, I want to do this, but how the hell am I possibly going to figure this out? How am I going to implement these strategies? How am I going to get my team on board? How am I? It's over and over again. And we need to let people know that we have fought those villains. Sometimes those villains aren't actual villains. They're not physical people. Sometimes our villains are our own thoughts of negativity or lack or our inability to accomplish something. Sometimes the villains in the fog that we have to triumph is on our own mind, and that's where the grind comes in, is we are trying to tell a story to get somebody to lead themselves on a journey that arrive with them choosing us for whatever it is we choose as the ultimate outcome of our story. So we want to let them know, like, look, I've been where you've been. I've even got to the point where I felt like I knew what I want to do, but time after time again, sure enough, there are constantly challenges, constantly new issues that arrive. There are new things that you have to be and become, and I think that's important because you really want to relay the fact that you went through all of these triumphs and struggles in the past, and you've fought against these villains, against this fog, against the crevices, and you were able to come out on the other side, and you're the person for the job because you're the person who has already gone through the struggle to be able to relate to your audience in a way that you're the person that's going to help them skip some steps. You're going to be the person that's going to see things before it comes because you've already experienced it and you've fought these battles and triumphed. Enter the mentor. So what's your superpower? Looking back, you have to figure out what's special about you and makes you stand out from the competition. So it doesn't matter if you're building a personal brand, if you're a salesperson trying to use your own unique personality and your life story to like bridge a gap between a prospect and whatever product or service you're trying to sell. It doesn't matter. I've sold newspaper ads and I've sold HVAC services and I've sold videography. It doesn't matter. Every single thing I've ever sold, I didn't tell a story about the company. I told a story about myself and my experience. And that is really where the superpower comes into play, is you want to give your brand promise here. You want to share your gift. You want to share your personality, because not only do you want your prospect to know why the business you do is the best business, but not only that, but if you're the person they have to deal with to utilize your business, then they need to know from the jump that you're the person that they could trust to get them where they need to go. So not only are you using your life story to build yourself up the credibility to become the mentor. That's why this is called Enter the Mentor. You're becoming the mentor. You're sharing your story of trials and tribulations and struggle and growth to get to a point where you could say, listen, I've been through all of this and I've arrived in this place, and now I can help you. And it's all of the struggle. It's all of everything I've been through in my life that has set me up to become the person that is uniquely positioned to help you become what it is you need to become to get to the next place in your life and in your journey. The road of trials. So, how has using your superpower allowed you to help your ideal customer or prospect or whoever? Doesn't matter. You could be trying to get a date. You could try to be getting a job. You could try to lock down a new client. It doesn't matter. This is the period of enlightenment where you're finally aware of your power and now you're testing it. So this is where if you're selling a product or service, you want to say, look, we've been through all this only to get to this point, and now we've been able to help this person do this person do that. Our product has created efficiencies here and has solved these problems there. This is where you want to show we went through all of that so we can offer you this. Victory is at hand. How have you used your story, your experiences, and how has your organization been able to use the learning experiences it has gone through to create the perfect existence for the target audience? This is where we want to show we went through this battle, we secured our victory to give you your victories. We went through all of this. We figured out how to solve these problems for the specific reason of helping you solve your problems. So for me, I've gone through everything in my life, jobs, businesses, failures. Everything I've gone through has given me hundreds and hundreds of stories, only for me to personally make the realization that my superpower is storytelling, but more specifically, showing people how to use their own stories to achieve their goals the same way that I have, because everything that I've accomplished has been through creating these stories with the intentions of achieving a goal in mind. So now that I've figured out how to do that, I can create these little videos like you're watching right now to show you how to use the skill that I've taken my life to develop. You can watch this short video and begin implementing it in your life without taking 10 years of trial and tribulation and failure and growth and taking 3 steps forward and 5 back, only to take 6 steps forward afterwards. It's a never-ending journey, but I have secured my victories and my information that is in my mind, so now I can share it with you and show you guys how to take your stories and craft them in a way to achieve anything you want. So when we get to the victory at hand section, this is where we want to show how we've used our stories and our experiences and how our organization has created something magical out of all of our experiences, and why you would be silly not to want to work with me, not to follow me, not to listen to my podcast, not to sign up for my email list. Why would you not? Like, obviously, I'm the guy who has used stories for the last 20 years to accomplish everything from working for Dean Graziosi and Tony Robbins to working for a big tobacco company to getting paid to make videos. When I started making my first video in a park with my kid, and all of a sudden giant companies are paying me to make them videos. Like, how does that even happen? Well, it happens because I choose goals in my life. I craft stories. I reach out to relevant people that are situated in unique positions around my goals. I share my stories with those people, and one of those people is bound to open up a door that allows me to acquire the opportunity that I set out with the intention of achieving. It sounds crazy, but that's really what this comes down to. Victory at hand is I have gone through all of these battles to secure my victory, so you don't have to fight those battles. You can just take my victory and use it as your own. Act 3 is a beautiful place. Right now, in my business, in my life, personally, me as Jake Serini, I'm in Act 3. Act 3 is another period of separation. This is the realization of your particular greatness. Like I said, I had to fail dozens and dozens of times. Failed businesses, failed partnerships, failed relationships, failed friendships, failed jobs, failed new careers, failed hobbies, failed activities, failed sports. I failed it all, but I now have a lifetime of information in my mind that I can tailor around stories and keywords and anything that can come up in my life. You can send me to any party, and I could talk to any person there and ask them a couple open-ended questions about themselves and listen for keywords, and then tell them stories about myself that align with the keywords that they presented to me. So now I know they have an interest in these things, and I can showcase why I'm an interesting person to speak to, because I have stories that directly align with who you just told me you are as a person. So it sounds like magic, and it seems like I am some sorcerer of networking and communication, but all I really am is prepared and attentive and a good listener. And when you're a good listener and you can pick out those keywords, and then you can share your own stories based on the assignment of stories to keywords in your own mind vault, then you become the person that feels like it's a magical to speak to. Like, people have told me, like, it's crazy talking to you, because for some reason, like, it's so smooth how things work out. And I don't try. This is just the way my brain works, and this is the way I'm built. But luckily, I have had the ability to target that and pinpoint that and kind of break that down into a process to share with you guys, so you don't have to figure out how to develop a weirdo brain like mine. You could just take this crazy information in my brain, make your own stories, and achieve your own goals. All right, the moral of the story. This is where we want to start to wrap things up, but we want to tailor it back again. We want to come back around to associate the story with our position of strength and why we're the person to be chosen for the job or the opportunity or whatever you're trying to do. This is where we want to showcase what are we the best at? What's our brand ideal? Whatever we strive for, is what we must become to become. We cannot become something unless we go through the act of becoming it. So we want to just reiterate, we've gone through all of this. We have, as a result of the things we have gone through, we have become this new version of ourselves. And this new version of ourselves can get you wherever you want to go. So it's always about the person. It's always, we want our audience to see themselves as the hero. We want to tell a story about ourselves and how we've got where we've got in our lives, so that they can see that, listen, if this person was able to get there, if I listen to them and follow their steps, I'm going to get there too. And that's all people really care about. They don't actually care about your story. They only want to see themselves as the hero of the story you're telling them. So you must tell them your stories in a way that makes them see themselves in your position the entire way. That's why we want to start with, listen, I used to be like you. I used to feel these pain points. But there was a spot where things started to change. And I found this skill and I molded it into this. All of these things happened as a result, and I ended up here, and where I am here is going to get you where you need to go in your life. If you can tell that one simple story, like honestly, these things, the moral of my story that I'm telling you is that everything I'm teaching you today, like this doesn't have to be a 20-minute story. This doesn't even have to be a 5-minute story. You can create this whole thing in 1-sentence intervals for each part on the perfect storytelling formula around the circle. For each one of those smaller circles, you can create 1 sentence and tell this whole story in 60 seconds, in a minute, in 2 minutes. It doesn't matter. This can be quick. This can be quick. All we're trying to do is say, listen, I used to be like you. Here are the things that I did. This is how I became this. When I became this, I did all of this to help these people. See how I've helped these people? I know how to do this. And that has allowed me to arrive where I'm at right now. And that is in a position to help you skip all of those steps and arrive right where I am at right now. And the moral of the story is that I used to be like you. I've become this, and I can help you become this right now. To be continued. So we want to say, this is where we want to dial in just a little bit. Like, okay, we've got their buy-in that they want to listen to us, that they want to work with us, that they want to hire us, that they want to, whatever it is that we do or we want to accomplish. At this point in the story, we've illustrated to them why we are the best person to choose for whatever it is. It doesn't matter. You could be trying to get somebody to make you a sandwich, but unless you can talk them into making it for you, you might be up on that grill yourself, man. So really, we want to reiterate, what are we always going to be doing to assure continued success for our goal? What are the things that we can do? So once they're bought in on wanting to be associated with us, then we need to let them know, here are the ongoing things, because the ongoing things are really where they're going to say, okay, yeah, I want to work with this person. I want to listen to this person. I want to subscribe. I want to follow. I want to purchase their offer. Whatever it is this is where we don't have to be long on this. This could be short. We could tell this whole story of I started here, I became this, I helped these people, now I can help you. When we get to now I can help you, that's the moral. That's the last thing we just talked about. But to be continued is where we can say, not only can I use all of that to be able to help you, here's 3 or 4 things specifically that I will do to help you if you choose me. And then that's where you pivot in your call to action and really wrap the whole thing up with that call to action. Should they take your call to action, maybe they'll enter into an email list, maybe they'll purchase something. Either way, this is where you put them into the top of your funnel, and now they become interested in you, in what you talk about, in your product, in your service, in hiring you or bringing you along or giving you an opportunity. Whatever it is you have to strike home. I once had a meeting with an extremely powerful Hollywood. He was started out as a famous comedy manager, became a film producer, and I sent him a proposal, and he teased me at the end, and he's like, you gave me all of this really, really incredible information, and then at the end you kind of were like, and if you like this, hit me up and then we'll figure out the money later. And he was laughing, and he was very kind to break this down for me. He's like, man, this last part, you need to just say, I can do this, this, and this. It will cost this much. Would you like to do it? Yes or no? Because you want them to drive growth. Maybe you won't tell them the exact price, but you need to say, I can do this, this, and this. And there's an option for each. If you would like those pricings, let me know. Either way, you've got to close them. So do not be afraid to end your story by asking for whatever it is that you want. Ask for the opportunity. Ask to go along on the honor flight. Ask to get their business. Ask for the job. Ask for whatever it is your goal is that inspired you to even get to this point. This is where you must be bold and ask directly for whatever it is you want. Be clear. You can go into details later, but ask for the commitment. So when you go into the details, you're going into creating those details, knowing that once those details are locked in, you're going to move forward with your goal. We are not asking them to lock down a commitment to a price or to any particular arrangement. Just get their commitment to buy into the idea of finalizing whatever it is that you are setting out to accomplish. And circling back to Act 1, scale your goals and repeat forever. I can't emphasize this enough. This strategy is not about acquiring one goal or one thing, however I want to say it. This is a constantly revolving circle. This is a sphere. This is moving in every direction all at once. Everything, every product that you sell should have a story built around this model that explains why that's the best product. Every service you offer should have a story built around this model that explains why your service is the best. Because if they don't know why your product or service is the best, and you don't create a story that buys them in to your brand story, that buys them into you as a person, then all they have to go on is your price. This is where you can increase price, and this is where you can increase profit, because you continuously go into everything you say, every story, every product, every service, every goal, everything you do, you build a story around it that showcases why you aren't only the best person for the job, but the only person for the job. So then you can ask for what it is you want to acquire. Not only that, but you're establishing yourself as a credible source for this opportunity. You are the best person for this because of everything you've gone through. So now we can ask for more. We can ask for extra things in the opportunity and extra money and so on and so forth. The number one goal here is just remember, everything piggybacks off of each other. When you accomplish one goal, your next goal should be a little bit bigger. Always scale your goals. Always find a process that works and repeat it forever. So, guys, I really appreciate you going through, this little training that I did on the perfect storytelling formula. I went into detail on each of the steps. Went into detail on how you can use this formula to basically accomplish any goal in your entire life. So based on just this video, there should be enough value built in where you can take this one free video and set up everything yourself and just really figure out how to take the stories of your experience and create opportunities for yourself you never would have seen coming. But some people may want to go into better detail. So I do have a 6-week training, a 6-week coaching program where you'll work with me directly. You're going to have 6 weeks of actionable coaching that you will go through. You will get things that you need to do every week, things that will help you really build your own stories, where we'll set your goal, we'll create your stories, we'll build them, we'll figure out how to create our keywords. So whatever your goals are, you have your top 10 keywords, and we assign different stories of those keywords. So as you move forward in your life and opportunities to acquire those goals pop up, you're always prepared. So I have a 6-week coaching program. It includes a weekly live where I answer your calls directly. So every week you'll get direct live access to me to help you guys build that. I also have a one-on-one personal coaching program. I do workshops for sales teams, for executive level clients. So if you want me to come in and work with your sales team, or maybe your organization or your nonprofit, I'd have a half-day workshop where I'll come in, I'll teach this entire perfect storytelling formula directly to your entire team. We'll figure out what your team story is. We'll build your team story, so then when I leave at the end of the day, your team will have the perfect brand story and the knowledge to build their own micro stories around that for their own individual client lists, or whoever they're reaching out to on a regular basis. So it's an all-in-one workshop. It's a half day. I could also do a full day, and I do one-on-one executive level coaching for people, whether you're a CEO or a real estate agent, or just somebody who wants to build a personal brand and wants me to walk you through all steps in every direction. All of that is really tailored to each individual person. So I'm not going to give you guys pricing or anything on here, but if you're interested in my 6-week coaching program called Selling Stories, or you're interested in my one-on-one executive level coaching, just shoot me an email, shoot me a DM on Instagram, let me know, and I'm more than happy to do that. I'm going to have some live personal brand building workshops here in Phoenix coming up. I'm going to be traveling around the country doing podcast interviews, and also hosting events for my people then too. So if there's anywhere that you guys listen to the podcast and find yourself here, and maybe you're in Seattle or Chicago and you want me to come do like a group public coaching, we could set that up too. So whatever it is, just hit me up. The best way to hit me up is always on the DMs on Instagram. So check out the next slide for the best way to contact me. All right, guys, so one last time, I just want to thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video today, to go through the training. I put all of my best nuggets in here when it comes to just the high-level view of how the perfect storytelling formula works. You should be able to take this video and build out all of your own stories and move forward. Like I said in the last section, if you want to hit up my 6-week coaching program, or you want one-on-one executive level coaching, or you want to bring me in to do a one-on-one workshop with your sales team, or even yourself if you're high level, we could do that too. But the best way to hit me up for anything, whether it's collaborations, partnerships, or coaching or workshops, is hit me up on Instagram. It's at @holleratjake. In my bio is my link tree, so you can access all of my resources, my websites, different ways to contact me. The best way to ever figure out how to hit me up about anything is just hit up Instagram, shoot me a DM, hit the link in my bio, and that's going to give you all of my everything. And if you guys could do me a huge favor, if you watch this training and you got value out of it, please screenshot it and share it on your Instagram story and tag me at @holleratjake. And if you do that, I'll make sure to give you a personalized shout out, and screenshot this and send it to your friends. It's a free training. What you guys got here, all you had to do was download my perfect storytelling formula, and you got this free coaching session along with it. So I hope it gave you a lot of value today on how to use this worksheet to craft your own stories that will accomplish any goal that you guys want. So hit me up if you need anything at all. Again, Instagram's the best way to do it. Please share my work with anybody that you guys know that might find value. And if you want to hire me for anything at all, hit me up on Instagram at @holleratjake. Make sure to sign up for my coaching. Make sure to sign up for workshops. I want to work with you guys. I want to meet with you. If you want to do my podcast, find me at the Thought Sound Project. and I want to have you guys on my podcast, because if you listen to the podcast, you know I'm most inspired by everyday people's stories. So you don't have to be famous. You don't have to have some huge brand. If you have a cool story that's interesting, I want to help you guys share it. So hit me up. Best way to book podcasts, hit me up on Instagram. It's at @holler@Jake. All right, thank you guys. I'm so grateful. I'm so appreciative. I had a blast sharing this coaching session with you, and look forward to meeting you guys all in person as soon as possible. Later.